Good evening. Welcome to the iBug Today Mac training course for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. This is week 1, lesson 1, and I am your instructor, Chanel Allen. Before we get to the teaching tonight, we actually have a few other things to take care of. First, I want to take a moment to tell you about iBug Today. Then our president, Michael McCullough, will speak. We will have introductions. After introductions, I'll talk briefly about the class. Then we'll get into our lesson. So iBook Today, which puts on this class twice a year, is a nonprofit organization. We have the mission of empowering the blind through accessible technology training. And we offer a number of workshops and social events, workshops on using iPhone or iOS, Android, Mac, and daily living, all kinds of stuff. To learn more about us, you can visit our website, ibugtoday.org. There, you may sign up to become a member. Membership is free. Participation in any of all our events are free. Some of you talked about that question on the application. Are you a registered member of iBug Today? If you've signed up to receive our emails and are receiving them, then you are indeed. You can do that, though, on our website. In the meantime, and while you are in this course, I will be sending iBug announcements to the iBug Mac training list. You can also, on our website, learn more about who we are, how we got started, listen to recordings of previous workshops. You may donate, since we are a nonprofit, and we have fundraisers and things throughout the year. You can also visit our YouTube channel if you prefer to get your content on YouTube. We have all of our workshops and things there if you go to youtubetoday.com and look for the iBug Today channel. You can also find us with your favorite smart speaker or podcast app of choice by asking for iBug Buzz, iBug Macintalk, iBug Cafe, and iBug Apple Workshop. And I will tell you more about these events as they happen. For this week, we have iBug Night at the Virtual Movies. It's every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central. And yes, I know we had a question about if we're in Central Daylight Time or Standard Time. Right now, we are in Daylight Time, Central Daylight Time. And all events take place at the same iBug Today Zoom link. That is different from the class, but in any emails you get from iBug, that link will be posted. And this week, the movie is Hamnet. So you can come at 7 p.m. for the pre-movie social where we do music trivia and just talk. And then at the 8 o'clock is the movie, followed by a discussion. We do also have things like Trekkie Talk, where we talk about episodes of Star Trek. I forget what they are in now, but that might be coming up. Just stay tuned to your emails, and I will try to do a better job of informing you of what's coming up. But for now, I'm going to turn things over to Michael McCullough. He is our iBug founder and president, and let him say a few words to welcome you.
Thanks, Chanel. Actually, would you mind if I hold off until you do around the room introduction?
Oh, of course. That's
Okay.
fine. All right. So right now, we are going to go around the room and we'll just do this for this first lesson. But since we're all new here, it's great to hear everyone's voices. And you'll say who you are and where you are joining from. I am Chanel, and I live in Houston, and iBug is also based out of Houston.
Donald, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And
Welcome.
bear with me. We've got a bad storm going on over here in Oklahoma right now. I didn't know. I just woke up, so I didn't look at the weather. But we've got a lot of hail coming on right now. So if I get cut off right today because of that, bear with me. I'll try and get back on.
That's
I'll
all
just let you
right.
guys know what's going on.
Being safe is the main thing. You will have the recording to listen to. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
This is Kenny from Missouri.
Welcome, Kenny.
This is David from Arkansas.
Welcome, David.
This is Raul from McAllen, Texas.
I'm sorry?
This is Raul from McAllen, Texas.
Raul, welcome. And I think I heard someone else.
My name is Carolyn, and I'm from Virginia.
Welcome, Caroline.
Michael
My name is
Weingarten, Cambridge, Ontario, Canada.
Welcome, Michael.
my name is
This is
Megan
Bob from.
Homershausen. I'm from Mesa, Arizona.
Okay, welcome, Megan. And I think I heard Bob.
Yep, this is Bob from Modesto, California.
Welcome, Bob.
And Maria from Wisconsin.
Welcome, Maria.
Thank you.
Tiffany, South Carolina.
Welcome, Tiffany.
Ilana from Massachusetts.
Welcome, Ilana.
And this is Herbie Allen, your TA, also in Houston, Texas, over in the next room from Chanel, actually. So.
Yep. All right.
I think did we hear, not Michael McCullough, the other Michael, did he introduce himself?
He did. He's quiet,
Okay.
but we heard him.
Then that is everybody.
All right. So now we'll turn it over to Michael McCullough.
All right. Thanks, Chanel. Really appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me here. Let me have a few minutes just to say hello to everybody. Looks like you got a good group this year or this semester, and you guys are in for a real treat. It'll take some time and effort, but I'm sure if you apply yourself, you'll come away with lots of good information and working knowledge of using the Mac. I took one of the first classes, and I still struggle because I didn't apply myself very well. But hopefully you guys will do better and keep applying. But I'm always in a learning mode. So yeah, we've had lots of over the last several years that we've been doing this. That when Chanel and Herbie first started teaching this class. A number of different people have taken the class, and we've had people, even other trainers, Mac trainers, have come in and taken the class just because they had heard such good things about it. So, yeah, it's a real privilege to be taking this, especially at the cost. We do try to, and we've been maintaining everything we do here at iBug. All of our training and services are provided free of charge. I guess one thing I wanted to, a couple of things. In addition to this class, and Chanel mentioned a number of other things going on. We are because we are a nonprofit. We are right in the middle of a just started actually here this past month, the beginning of March, our annual fundraiser, and which is a drawing. We have a $500 tech shopping spree drawing, and you can find out more details about that on our website, ibugtoday.org. And basically, you buy a ticket, $10, and that'll get you entered into the drawing for the $500 shopping or gift card that will be given out to your choice of Apple, Android, or Amazon stores. So check that out. Then the other thing, tomorrow night, actually, we've got a special watch party starting up of a old TV series that first aired on Showtime. Excuse me. It's called Homeland, a CIA political thriller type TV series. So we're going to get that kicked off with watching a couple of audio described episodes, the pilot and the second episode called Grace of that. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, come join us for that. We'd love to have you at any and all of our different events. We do 25, and we're probably, if we add on the Homeland, it's going to bump us up to 29 different events each month, training and social type events. So take advantage of those. And like I said, all of those are free. And again, welcome, and have fun during your class over the next several weeks.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks for sharing about the extra stuff going on. Yes, we are busy and we love to do things. And I knew that special raffle was coming up because we're getting ready to celebrate in May our 15th anniversary, 15th year anniversary of iBug Today. So thank you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the class. Everything is outlined in the syllabus. If you did not receive that syllabus for some reason, please email me and I will send you a copy. I do provide the link to join in each set every Tuesday morning or afternoon when I email you the first 10 focus questions. I will also include the class link. But it'd be a really great idea to save the links in a spot that's easy for you to get to. And as outlined in the class syllabus, we have class every night. Some of them are Mac and Talk, and for that, we'll be meeting on a different Zoom link in the iBug Today room. And we do require attendance at all of our classes with no more than one absence. I also encourage you to attend review sessions. Herbie is going to talk more about those, but those are really a necessary component of the class. We only require attendance at about half, but they're really useful to solidify any concepts that might have been unclear in class. As far as just in general, okay, the way to get the most out of the class is to apply yourself. And when I first received my Mac, I did not apply myself to learning it. But since I had to teach this class and then there were more and more things I wanted to do on the Mac, it became something I wanted to use. And even if right now you're just learning the basics and you might not be able to do a whole lot, spend some time practicing with what we have taught. Even if it doesn't really get you anywhere, it will. It'll all add up to the end, at the end. And you can, it's also important to learn the Mac for what the Mac has to offer. I will draw parallels to other operating systems or iOS or whatever. I try to teach you the most efficient way to use things. So I will be bringing in concepts from other things, but accept the Mac's limitations and strengths because the Mac is really awesome for a number of things. We've had a few questions, or we always get questions about recordings. I did send out a handout explaining how you could download them using your iPhone or Mac and possible players. The Dropbox links will download automatically. You don't need a Dropbox account, and everything should be good there. And we will hear from Herbie in just a minute. But the other thing I wanted to mention, I am trying to remember what I wanted to mention, as it always is the case. Definitely make use of the resources in the syllabus. I provide links to Applevis articles, and there's so much out there. I can't link to every Mac article or guide on the Applevis website. And sometimes students even find other resources. You are welcome to share those resources. I'm just kind of getting you started. I am also self-taught, but I've looked at different materials over the years and tried to put together a course that would hopefully make sense and be structurally sound and all that good stuff. So why don't we turn it over to Herbie to talk about the review sessions and other things, and then we'll get started with the lesson.
All right. Thank you, Chanel, and good evening, everybody. So glad that you are all here. All right. So we have review sessions that are going to take you dissect basically what Chanel teaches us and go back and test your comprehension of it. And I'll tell you from past experiences, it does start off pretty easy for the most part. And then we get into a little bit more things like Finder and text edit, and then people start to go, Of course, it varies from class to class. But the idea is to find out how well you know things. It's also a great opportunity to then, because a lot of times people will actually think about questions that they want to ask, and so on and so forth. And so make sure we ask that you attend at least half the review sessions. It's better if you can attend all of them. Along the way, we are going to have several mini lessons in these review sessions. These will be separate from the review sessions. In other words, we are not going to do a mini lesson and a review session. Past experience has taught me that that does not work out too well. And what these mini lessons are is I will be teaching several things: messages, the phone app, FaceTime. If you are not running Tahoe, some of these mini lessons will not make sense as much, especially when it comes to like the phone app. We will also do a Safari demo where you'll give me sites. After we do the Safari lesson, we go over like some sites that maybe you'd like to learn how you can navigate on the Mac side of things. So we do that. And I also will be talking about downloading apps, both from the web and the Mac App Store. And the differences, the similarities, basically all that type of thing. So what to expect. I will go more into my history on Thursday, but just real briefly, unlike Michael and Chanel, when I first got my Mac, I did apply myself. I got right into the Mac course. The first official class, there was a pilot course even before that. And so I'd had a couple years of hearing Chanel, because Chanel puts a lot of effort into these classes. So she practices. So I'd actually heard a lot of the stuff. And but it didn't fully make sense. Text edit made the most sense to me just hearing it, interestingly enough. But it didn't make sense till I actually got the Mac and started practicing, putting it into practice. And I had some specific motivations with tasks that I wanted to accomplish with the Mac. And that was a large part of my motivation. And we'll talk more about that on Thursday. But what I'm trying to say is if you actually start practicing the things that Chanel teaches right away, don't worry about so much trying to do it in class. Use the class to take notes. Then go back with the recording and, just take it bit by bit and pause the recording. You're going to do well. And the review sessions, they're always going to be a lesson behind. So this week, it's going to be our meet and greet, where we just get to know each other, what we want to get out of the class, that type of thing. And then next week, when we'll be going over lesson 2 in class, and then the review session is going to be focusing on lesson 1. So what we go over in class today. So that way you have a week to go over the material. One thing, some classes will do this, some will not, is having your own review sessions outside of the official ones to go over the material together. And that will also help. Just 2 final things, and then I'll shut up. One, take note that the review session is a separate link from the class link. Do not click on the class link. Make sure you click on the link for the review session. You will find that in your syllabus. I will also send it out via email for the first couple of weeks, so you can click on the link. And we can even talk in the review session about how to bookmark the link right away in Safari, so you already have it if you're using Zoom on your computer. So just make note that it is a separate link. Also, it is a time we started at, I think we said what now, 6:30?
On.
Oops,
Oh,
I
your speech
unmuted
is
the
on.
right thing. Yeah. Yes, we indeed do start at 6:30.
Yep. So 6:30 Central. This is going to be different for me because we used to do it at 5:30 Central, but we discovered that a lot of people would end up showing up late because it did not quite work out for them. So we're going to try this a little bit later than what we've done previous review sessions, but a little bit earlier than when the class starts. And I hope that I'd like to see a lot of attendance. And how it works is I don't call on people right away. I give you all a chance to answer the question, but if I notice people are lagging behind, then I will call on you to answer the questions. So to answer a question, not all of them, but anyway, it's and it can be a fun experience. I do try to make things interesting. So that's all I have. And with that, we turn it back to Chanel and the real professional part of the class.
Well, thank you, Herbie. And yeah, just to reiterate, review sessions are important. The focus questions are not something that you need to turn in. Use them in your own study time and be prepared to give answers in class. They're not graded. We get many questions about that. I'm sure there are other things that we forgot to mention. Definitely, too, if you are having trouble accessing any part of the class, be sure if it's just a general Mac question, how do I do this on the Mac? Make use of our student email list. If you ask questions there, then everyone can learn. And maybe you can even help each other out. If you have concerns or need to let us know that you're not going to be in attendance or something else, if you then write to the iBug Mac training email. But those are all logistics. Let's go ahead and get to the class. I'm going to we'll turn on my speech. You're going to hear things like loop back and then off and on. Loopback is a program I use to basically share my sound. I don't do it directly in Zoom. Here we go. Tonight's lesson is going to be very basic. Most of you should be familiar with at least this first thing, how to turn VoiceOver on and off. Then we'll move to keyboard help and identifying keys on the keyboard. We'll talk briefly about the VoiceOver Quick Start tutorial. I'll then go into a description of the screen layout found in Finder on the Mac desktop. Then I will talk about using the trackpad. If it sounds like from our pre-class discussion that many of you use iOS devices, and you'll find that some of the gestures that you can do on a trackpad are the same as those you can do on the touch screen of an iOS device. And we'll practice those gestures in keyboard help. Then we will actually try to apply some of those gestures to getting to certain areas on our Mac. Then we'll use VoiceOver commands. So pretty simple for this first lesson, but it does build. Use the foundational stuff that we cover in these first few lessons. It will help you immensely in future lessons. All right, I'm going to go to my desktop because that's a good place to start. And now let's turn VoiceOver off and back on. Well, how do we do that? The most common way is to hold Command and press F5. That is F5, 5 keys to the right of Escape, which is at the top left-hand corner. Alternatively, on a Mac laptop, you can hold in Command while pressing and releasing the Touch ID sensor 3 times. If you have a touch bar that's a horizontal flat area with a bunch of icons, then you will want to press the Touch ID sensor 3 times while holding down Command. What is the Touch ID sensor? It's also the power on-off button. If you have Siri set up, you could tell her to turn on VoiceOver. We will talk about Siri briefly later on in this class. You can also go the long way around to system settings, accessibility, VoiceOver. But the easiest thing and what we're going to do is just hold down Command and press and release F5. Oops, except I went over too many over. Here we go.
VoiceOver off.
Now, if I try to press it too soon, sometimes VoiceOver may not turn on. Again, if I press it only a second after I turned it off. So if I wait like 3 seconds or so, turning VoiceOver on with the same gesture, holding in Command and pressing F5, will turn it back on.
VoiceOver ACB alias. Actions available. You are currently on alias. To open, press Control Option Space to begin interacting with the contents of this image. Press Control Option Shift down arrow.
VoiceOver is cutting itself off a bit, but it should have said that we were on the desktop. So it says what item has focus, or what part of the screen, what application has focus, what item has focus, and provides suggestions for what you can do with that item. Some of those things may not always be relevant. Let's, though, go into keyboard help to talk about important keys on your keyboard. Going into keyboard help has a couple of purposes. One, just learning locations of some of the keys on your keyboard and practice pressing them. And two, practice voiceover commands. If you want to try out a voiceover command that you heard about somewhere, or you might remember the command but forget what it actually is, you can go into keyboard help. And keyboard help is really useful if you for some reason are not using a standard Mac laptop layout. You're maybe using an external keyboard built for Windows, and so you might want to go into keyboard help to learn the layout of your specific keyboard. And I will press VO and the letter K. You'll know what I mean by VO in just a bit.
Starting keyboard help. Type keys to hear their names. Hold down the voiceover keys while typing to hear voiceover commands. Press the escape key at the top left corner of the keyboard to stop help.
Right now, I am using the keyboard on my Mac laptop. This is the default keyboard layout pretty much on all laptops, except for the touch bar. The touch bar, I think the latest Mac that it was in was 2020. But this is the layout on a Mac laptop. It's also the layout you will find on a standard Apple Magic keyboard. The Apple Magic keyboard is an external keyboard used via Bluetooth. It comes in two models, the regular and the full size, and we'll talk about the full size in a little bit. But let's go on our keyboard and find the key at the bottom left-hand corner. If you go all the way to the bottom of the keyboard, you have the trackpad. The trackpad is below the space bar. But if we just stick to the space bar and move all the way to the left, this bottom left-hand corner key is FN. And you will hear VoiceOver say the keys as I move to the right.
FN, Tyviet letter Lovo. Control, Option, Command, Space, Command, Option.
Then we have a little bit of a space kind of above our left arrow.
Left arrow, down arrow, right arrow,
and then we have the
arrow.
up arrow. But the main keys are those that we need to know about right now, are those to the left and right of the space bar. These are known as modifier keys. In addition to Command, Option, and Control, and FN, other modifiers include Shift, which is directly above FN.
Shift.
And Caps Lock, which is above Shift.
Caps Lock.
A modifier changes the behavior of another key. For instance, the letter D is just lowercase d by itself. If you add Shift to it,
Shift D,
it becomes a capital D, and VoiceOver, at least by default, indicates capitals by raising the pitch. If you add the VO keys, which are either Control and Option or Caps Lock, then it VOD,
Caps Lock D, go to dock, moves VoiceOver cursor to the dock,
takes you to the dock. And consequently, Caps Lock or Control and Option are your two options for the VoiceOver modifier, also called the VO modifier, also called the VO key or keys. By default, VoiceOver allows you to use Caps Lock or Control and Option. Much of Apple's help documentation is written using Control Option, and so people often think that's what that you need to use. But caps lock works just as well. I prefer it. It's one less key to press, and it is similar to using, or at least having the option in JAWS and NVDA to use caps lock. How do you find Option and Control, though, if you wish to use those as modifier keys? And you would press them down together for the VoiceOver modifier. But Option and Control are the second and third keys away from the spacebar. I kind of like to think of them as sandwiched in between Command and FN. My second finger lands on Command, my third and fourth fingers land on Option and Control, and my pinky is on FN. So the Option and Control just kind of fall naturally between my second finger and pinky. That is our VoiceOver modifier. Now, as I said, there are other modifiers, Command, Shift, FN. The Command key specifically is used either by itself or in conjunction with other keys for Mac commands. For instance, Command N for new, Command C for copy, Command P for print, Command S for save. On Windows, you would press the Control key to execute those commands. So Control N for new, Control C for copy, Control P for print, Control S for save. The Command key is used on the Mac. Sometimes you'll add things in conjunction with the Command key. For instance, Command Control 1 filters your message list. Command Shift D delivers a message in the Mail app. And we'll talk about some of these commands. But anything proceeding with or that begins with the Command key is a Mac command. Another important thing about Mac commands, they can be performed by anyone whether or not they are using VoiceOver. In this class, I will introduce you to VoiceOver commands, especially this first lesson, but I'm also going to teach you Mac commands because they are often easier to press and more efficient. Sometimes you must use VoiceOver commands, but often you can use just the keyboard keys. And we'll go over that later. Moving to the very top row of a keyboard, we have our function keys. The top left corner, of course, is Escape. Then you have, moving from left to right,
F1, F2, F3,
all the way to F12,
F12,
and then the Touch ID sensor. Yours, as you press them, may not be saying F1, F2, etc. Might be saying like brightness 0% to brightness 6%. They decrease and increase the brightness. They do something called go to mission control. They adjust media playback, lower and raise system volume. Those are what we call hardware functions because they adjust the properties of your sound or of your screen. For VoiceOver commands, you might need to press the FN key in conjunction with the VO keys. But there's a setting that we're going to adjust next week, which makes it so that by default, the function keys are used for software functions, such as VoiceOver commands, rather than hardware functions. And we'll talk about how to adjust that. It might be convenient to do things like press F11 and F12 to lower and raise your system volume, but there's other ways of doing that. And again, we'll go into more of an explanation of that next week. Speaking of the screen, I forgot to mention that we do recommend students practice with the screen curtain on. The screen curtain basically makes the screen, as I've heard it called, black or nothing on the screen. When you're practicing VoiceOver, you won't get distracted by seeing the cursor be in, what you think might be the wrong spot. So spend a little bit of time practicing with the screen curtain on each day. It just means it makes you listen to VoiceOver more rigorously, and makes the screen less distracting. Okay, if you have a Mac that has that flat touch bar, you might be thinking, I can't use this. And yeah, having to slide your finger along is a bit arduous. You can slide your finger along and VoiceOver will tell you what it encounters, just like you would do Touch and Explore on the touch screen of your iPhone. You can also flick to certain things and then double tap to activate them. However, if you want to do VoiceOver commands, you can press the FN key, which is at the bottom left-hand corner, in conjunction with the VO keys, and the numbers 1 through the equal sign on the number row to simulate F1 through F12. Going to the VoiceOver utility then would be VO or Control Option FN and the number 8. And that's how you can simulate function keys on a Mac with a touch bar. I'll briefly mention the keyboard that I love to use, which is the Apple Magic keyboard with numeric keypad. The keys are a bit more widely spaced. It does have a flat profile, so it's not too tall, but the keys have nice spacing.
Shift.
I love the fact that it's more ergonomic to press Control and Option if I want to use those keys, because we have Command, Option, Control on both sides of the spacebar. Instead of there being a function key at the bottom left, the function key is in an area called a 6-pack, which is a horizontal group of keys. They're arranged in 2 rows of 3 keys. And I believe the newer Apple Magic keyboards with numeric keypads do have the extra FN key. I'm using the older model that does not have Touch ID. And the main attraction of this keyboard for me, aside from the fact that, it's Bluetooth, so I can use it wherever. I don't need to have the laptop on my lap. But the main thing I like about this keyboard is the numpad. I use the numpad extensively for VoiceOver commands, and we can talk about that perhaps in another session. This keyboard also has 19 function keys, so you can assign the function keys to do different things, and it's a great keyboard. You can use it while it's charging via USB, but even so, the battery lasts for quite a long time. Now, though, let's go ahead and get out of keyboard help. And when I press VO and the letter K, you will know what I mean. That is, I'm holding in caps lock and pressing the letter K.
Caps lock K. Stopping keyboard help.
Now let's visit the VoiceOver Quick Start tutorial. You might find this more frustrating and aggravating, and that's all right. I don't expect you to go all the way through it if it's more of a pain than it is a help. But we'll at least, go through a couple sections of it. You can press VO Command F8 to get there. But if you find that's too much finger gymnastics, a simpler way is to go into the VoiceOver Help menu with VO H as in help, then arrow down or press Q for Quick Start tutorial. Let's now press VOH.
VoiceOver Help menu, 5 items.
And let's press Q.
User Guide Control Option question mark.
If I can type, press Q.
User Guide Control Option question mark.
Or not. Let's down arrow.
Commands help, keyboard help, sounds help, Quick Start tutorial Control Option FN Command 8.
And then press Return.
Accessibility tutorial. Learn how to use VoiceOver. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to use VoiceOver to navigate and use your Mac. VoiceOver will automatically be enabled as you complete each collection. Some instructions may not apply if you've customized VoiceOver, and VoiceOver may be restricted throughout the tutorial. Button. 1 updated item. You are currently on a button inside of a list. The VoiceOver modifier. Performing any VoiceOver command requires pressing the VoiceOver modifier keys, along with 1 or more other keys, at the same time. Typically the VoiceOver modifier keys are Control and Option, or just the caps lock key. Now, practice pressing the Control Option space keys together to move to the next page. Next page, button previous page, button 1 of 11, group.
What
You
I
are
don't
currently on a
like
group.
is VoiceOver tells you a ton of information. It reads all the
Practice the
stuff
VoiceOver
around it.
modifier
Okay,
by
let's do
pressing
VO
Control Option.
space.
You've completed all of the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, select the next item. VoiceOver automatically reads aloud the selected on-screen item, like text or a button. You can control which item is selected by moving the selection. To select the next on-screen item, press Control Option right arrow. Press Control Option right arrow now to move to the next page.
And
You
we
are
can do
currently on a
that.
text element. You've completed all of the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, select the previous item. You just practiced the command to select the next item.
All
To
right, we're
select
going to
the
go ahead and
previous
get out of
on-screen
here with
item,
Command
press
Q.
Control Finder.
I apologize for talking over the thing. It won't shut. It won't be quiet. Even if I press what I fondly call the shush command, which is the control key, VoiceOver, it reads you way too much info. Maybe the point is turning the VoiceOver off, and once you go into the tutorial, but even so, I don't know. It does get more complicated as you progress through. Sometimes, though, if you want to start from where you left off, you kind of have to interact if you go back into it again. So use it as a resource if you want, but it's definitely not required. And I think the best way to learn VoiceOver is honestly just to practice. Before we get into more practice, though, I need to take time to describe the Mac screen layout. I'm going to go to the desktop.
Desktop, ACB, alias.
That is the Mac screen layout you specifically find on the desktop. Why the desktop? Why is that important? Well,
ACB,
okay,
alias.
shush, VoiceOver. When your Mac opens, or when your Mac starts, you will land in Finder. Finder is your Mac's file management system. It's always open. In Windows, you could, close any open Windows Explorer windows. But Finder is always open. Because Finder is always open, it has to be open to something. What is that something? It is the desktop. The desktop comprises like the middle of the screen. Although you have icons for drives that are connected to your Mac, or aliases, or your Mac's internal storage, those are shown along the right-hand side. Because Finder is always open, the desktop is always showing, and everything is in RAM memory. You do not want to have actual files or folders on the desktop. It kind of loads a preview of them, and it just takes longer to load the more things you have on the desktop. You can create aliases, which are shortcuts to get to files and folders on your Mac. And you might be saying, well, what about apps? How can I put an app on the desktop? Apps don't really belong, or their shortcuts don't belong on the desktop. Instead, we have another location for those, which I will get to in a moment. So the desktop is in the middle of the screen. Again, you're only going to see the desktop when you are in the Finder, but the Finder is the first thing that kind of loads when your Mac turns on, unless you have some other app set to start at login. Moving to the top of the screen, we have the menu bar. The menu bar is kind of comprised of two areas. First, we have our regular menu bar, and the menu bar contains all the commands you need to operate, to use, to run, whatever, in a particular application. If it's a well-designed app, everything will be found in the menu bar. If you get to things like Microsoft Office, you might have to kind of delve into the tricky ribbons, but they're not too bad. If you use apps that are imported over from iOS, so apps that work on the Mac but weren't really designed for the Mac, they may not use the menu bar at all. But standard Mac apps do use the menu bar. And there's always in that menu bar The Apple menu. It is the leftmost menu, and it contains things that apply to your Mac globally, or things that you might want to look at pertaining to your Mac, such as About This Mac, where you can learn what your Mac model is, what operating system it's running. The Apple menu also has shutdown, restart, log off, showing recent apps that you've opened. That is all in the Apple menu. It also has an icon for an option for system settings. The menu next to the Apple menu is Finder, at least where we're at now. In applications, if you're in Mail, the second menu will be Mail. If you're in Safari, the menu to the right of Apple, or the second menu, will be Safari. And that menu basically gives you info about the app. You can launch app-specific settings, and you can quit the app. Then we have menus such as File, Edit, View, Help, and those change depending on what type of app you are using. The other component or area of the menu bar is what's called menu extras or status menus. And that's like the status bar on your iPhone or the system tray in Windows, basically showing you things like your battery percentage, battery charge, your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, time and date, any other apps that place information in the status menus. Then at the bottom of the screen, and this shows or hides, it kind of auto appears, whatever. You can change that setting, but you can always get to it no matter what. And this is an area called the dock. The dock is another horizontal strip of icons, and this is where you launch apps, most frequently used apps on your Mac. You can add things to the dock, you can remove things. The dock is kind of like the start menu. Unlike the iOS dock, though, you can have practically an unlimited amount of things here. I have like 30 apps on the dock. I know. I love to use my dock to launch apps. It's not the only way. The apps are on the left, and files and folders are on the right. I find it easier to use Finder for files and folders, but whatever. Now let's talk about using the trackpad for VoiceOver commands. You can use the trackpad and try to click on things or whatever, however people do. But if you want it to work for VoiceOver, if you want VoiceOver to read you what you're flicking to, or to be able to communicate with you about what's on the screen, you need to enable trackpad commands. Commands in VoiceOver used to be called commanders, and it's basically an alternate way of performing VoiceOver commands. By default, you do things like via left, via right. On the trackpad, you can do that same thing with flicking if trackpad commands are enabled. If numpad commands are enabled, you can press numpad 6 and numpad 4. So it's all a matter of which commands you have enabled. To make VoiceOver work with the trackpad or turn on trackpad commands, you hold in the caps lock key while doing the twist. Yeah, you actually get up and do the twist. No, you don't actually have to do that. I was just making sure you're awake. But you do need to use the rotor gesture, that is, twist 2 fingers to the right, and do that as you're holding down the VO key. I will hold down caps lock and twist 2 fingers to the right.
Trackpad commands on.
Now I'm going to go into keyboard help again. And when I say VOK, that is caps lock and the letter K. And I am saying VOK. One time somebody asked me, what's VOK? Or what's the OK key? No, I'm actually saying VOK. Let's go into keyboard help now. On your iPhone, you could do a 4-finger double tap to bring up that equivalent. But we're not able to do 4-finger gestures on the Mac trackpad. Or at least I'm not aware of being able to. So let's press VOK.
Starting keyboard help. Type keys to hear their names. Hold down the VoiceOver keys while typing to hear VoiceOver commands. Press the escape key at the top left corner of the keyboard to stop help.
And let's now go over some gestures that you will be familiar with from using your iPhone.
2-finger tap. Pause or resume speaking. Pauses or resumes speaking.
Otherwise known as the shush gesture, what I like to call it. Or, of course, we have control on the keyboard to pause or resume VoiceOver speech. Kind of shut it up when it's talking too much. Okay, here's some other gestures you'll be familiar with.
Flick right. Moves the VoiceOver cursor right. Flick left. Moves the VoiceOver cursor left. Double tap. Perform action for item. Performs the default action on the item in the VoiceOver cursor. 2-finger double tap. Magic tap. Performs a magic tap, typically toggling the most important state of the app. 3-finger double tap. Mute speech toggle. Toggles whether VoiceOver's speech is muted.
And that's great if your VoiceOver gets muted.
3-finger triple tap. Toggle screen curtain on or off. Screen curtain hides all displays behind a black screen.
If you don't have a trackpad, the keyboard equivalent of screen curtain is VO Shift F11. We do not have a keyboard equivalent of muting and unmuting VoiceOver speech. You would need to create a command, and VoiceOver definitely allows you to do that. Excuse me. We also have a rotor.
Rotate clockwise. Next rotor item. Switches to the next rotor item. Rotate counterclockwise. Previous rotor item. Switches to the previous rotor item.
And then flicking down and up moves you in the rotor.
2-finger flick down. Read contents of VoiceOver cursor. Reads the contents of the item in the VoiceOver cursor. 2-finger flick up. Read from beginning to VoiceOver cursor. Reads from the beginning of the content to VoiceOver cursor position.
Now, why did I spend time mentioning the screen locations of the menu bar, the desktop, the dock? Well, because you can actually take 2 fingers and place them in different locations, and that will determine what comes up. So if we do a 2-finger double tap at the top of the trackpad, representing the top of the screen.
2-finger double tap top, go to menu bar, moves VoiceOver cursor to the menu bar.
And similarly, if we do the same, but with a 2-finger double tap at the bottom.
2-finger double tap bottom, go to dock, moves VoiceOver cursor to the dock.
That is our menu bar and dock. We do not have a shortcut or a trackpad gesture for getting to the desktop. But you can also do a 2-finger double tap at the left of the trackpad.
2-finger double tap left. Open application chooser. Brings up a list of currently opened applications.
So you can see which apps are open and navigate between them.
2-finger double tap right. Open window chooser. Brings up a list of currently opened windows.
And that's windows within an application. Let's say you have multiple documents open. Now let's go ahead and talk about our interact gestures. We're not going to get into interacting until next week.
2-finger flick right. Start interacting with item. Further inspection inside the item. Allows keyboard control. 2-finger flick left. Stop interacting with item. Stops interacting with item. Focus VoiceOver cursor out to inspect surrounding items.
There may be even more gestures. I will say a couple of things. You can create your own trackpad commands. However, when you do that, it will involve pressing a modifier key while performing the gesture on the trackpad. So it's not truly a gesture. You still have to use a keyboard key. For me, taking my hands off the keyboard is not very efficient. I don't really find the trackpad easy. I tried it when I first got a Mac because, yeah, it was cool to be able to do some of the same iOS gestures, but it didn't really work out for me. I don't always have the best facial orientation, so sometimes I might think I'm tapping the top where I might be closer to the middle of the trackpad. Do you need a trackpad for this course? Absolutely not. We are talking about the trackpad today. Some people really enjoy using it when browsing the web in Safari. It has its uses. It's great to kind of bridge the gap between Mac and iOS and get more comfortable with the Mac. But if you don't have one, don't worry about getting one unless you truly think it would be useful for you. I am now going to get out of keyboard help. And while we don't have the same gesture to enter keyboard help or learn or whatever, we do have the scrub gesture. Some people call it a backwards Z. And I just kind of rub my fingers quickly in a circle like I'm trying to rub something off of something. And that is our scrub gesture. And it can get you out of a menu or, in this case, out of keyboard help.
2-finger scrub. Escape. Exits the current mode. Stopping keyboard help.
Now let's try getting to those areas on the trackpad, our menu bar and dock. Sometimes this is where VoiceOver likes to give me trouble, but it's actually been behaving in most of my practice sessions. Again, if we double tap 2 fingers at the top of the trackpad, we can go to the menu bar.
Menu bar Apple. You are currently on a menu bar item. To open this menu, press Control, Option, Space.
Notice VoiceOver doesn't tell you how you can move or do things with the trackpad. It's only going to tell you about the VoiceOver commands, things with Control Option or Caps Lock, although it doesn't say Caps Lock. But let's go ahead and flick right. That will move us from menu to menu.
Finder, File, Edit, View, Go, Window, Help, Menu 16 items.
Uh-oh.
You are currently
and if
in
we
a
flick
menu.
left,
Menu 16 items.
All right, we're going to get out of this with the scrub
Finder,
gesture.
Desktop,
And
ACB,
I am
alias,
going
has
to
keyboard focus.
turn VoiceOver
Actions available.
off and back on because that just sometimes helps. And this time I'm doing it with the Touch ID sensor. On this laptop keyboard, I naturally reach for my Touch ID sensor when turning VoiceOver on and off.
VoiceOver off.
Oops, see, I turned it on too soon and it didn't go on. All right.
VoiceOver recording projects alias. Actions available.
Okay, shush. So now let's go to our menu bar again.
Menu bar Apple. Finder. File.
And we can flick
You
right.
are currently on a menu.
We can flick left.
Finder. Apple.
And
You
let's
are
go into the Apple menu. If we flick down.
Apple menu 10 items. About this Mac.
And we
You are
can one
currently
finger
on a
double
menu.
tap.
Closing menu. System information. About this Mac.
And that opens About This Mac. If you have a submenu inside of a menu, you can flick right or double tap on that, and that will open the submenu. Let's go ahead and go to our dock, which we can do with a 2-finger double tap at the bottom.
Dock. Loopback. Open. 16 of 36.
Again, if I flick right.
Mac Whisperer. 17 of 36. Mail. 18 of 30. Messages. 1 new item. Microsoft Word. 20 of 36.
And if I want to open this, I can 1-finger double tap.
System information. About this Mac. Window. Word. Document.
Okay,
Page 1
what
content.
if I want to see which applications are open? Well, I find it's sometimes easier on the keyboard to do Command Tab, but sometimes, as we'll discover next week, Command Tab doesn't show everything. And our trackpad way of looking at open apps is a 2-finger double tap at the left of the trackpad.
Application Chooser menu. 5 items. System Dialogues menu.
I'm flicking down to move to these items.
Finder. Previous. Word. Current. Loopback. Zoom us.
Let's say I want to go into Zoom Us. I can 1-finger double tap.
Zoom us. Zoom meeting. Window. Close button.
And there we go. Now let's talk about using the keyboard and specifically VoiceOver commands. Let's return to the desktop with VO-Shift-D.
Finder. Recording projects alias. Desktop. Recording
Okay.
Recording projects.
Shush. I pressed the Control key. You can move from item to item on the desktop with VO left and VO right.
Recording project.
You hear that thunk? That means we're kind of at the left. We can move with VO right.
Macintosh HD. Schedule recordings alias. ACB alias. Setup files alias. Chanel alias. Alias.
And I realize you may not have aliases here, but you can VO space to open them. I'm going to teach you other ways of opening later. You can also press the tab key.
Dropbox alias. Herbie Chanel alias.
Or shift tab.
Dropbox alias. Chanel alias. Alias.
And this works
Actions
on
available.
the desktop. In menus, you can't really use tab, but that works on the desktop. Let's go to our menu bar with VOM. Today, I'm going to use VoiceOver commands only, but next week, I'm going to teach you keyboard commands, that is, using the arrow keys by themselves. And sometimes, when possible, using keyboard commands is more efficient. You don't want to spend all your time holding down the VO keys, and I will try to tell you when you do not have to do that. First of all, let's turn off our trackpad, or turn off VoiceOver commands, specifically VoiceOver trackpad commands. Sometimes, I was just reaching for a key on the keyboard and you bump your trackpad. And so sometimes you might lose your position or something else can happen. There is a way when VoiceOver is running to prevent the trackpad from being recognized, unless, of course, you have trackpad commands on. That's been a feature since macOS Sequoia. If we have enough interest, I can go over how to do that in our VoiceOver utility lesson. So let's go ahead and hold down our VoiceOver modifier, and this time twist 2 fingers counterclockwise or to the left.
Trackpad commands off.
Now let's use our keyboard. So VOM to go to our menu bar.
Menu bar Apple. You are currently on a menu bar item. To open this menu, press Control, Option, Space.
And again, we could do that, but let's again VO right.
Finder, File, Edit, View, Go, Window, Help, Help.
And we hear a thunk because we're at the end of the menu. If we go back.
Window, Go, View, Edit, File, Finder. Apple. You are currently on
And if we VO space, or we can even VO down arrow. At VoiceOver, it doesn't tell you about that. But you can do VO space or VO down arrow. See if I do VO down arrow.
Apple, menu, 10 items. About this Mac. System settings, ellipsis. You are currently on a menu.
Again, I'm cutting VoiceOver off. If we want to open the system settings or activate it, we can press VO space.
Closing menu. Now in Window. Side.
Let's go to the Apple menu again. VOM.
Menu bar Apple.
VO down arrow.
Apple, menu, 10 items. About this Mac. System settings, ellipsis. App Store. Recent items, submenu. You are currently on a menu item. To choose this menu item, press Control, Option, Space. To close this menu, press Escape.
Again, we are in a submenu. You can open this submenu, as it says, with VO space or even VO right arrow. Because you're opening a menu further, typically, whether you're using VO or keyboard commands, the right arrow opens, the left arrow closes. So VO space we'll just do for now because that's what it said.
Recent items, submenu, 44 items, accessibility tutorial app, Braille Alliance app, calendar app. You are currently on a menu.
If we decided, I don't want to be in this menu after all, we can VO left arrow.
Apple, menu, 10 items, recent
to get
items,
back to
submenu.
The Apple menu. Let's go ahead and go to our dock. I'm going to hit Escape.
Closing.
And the menu bar was VOM. M as in menu bar. We got to the menu bar using VOM. Now let's go to our dock with VOD. D for dock.
Dock. Microsoft Word, open, 20 of 36.
And let's say we want to go to the left. We can left arrow, VO left.
Messages, what mail, 18, Mac Whisper, Loopback, Letterful, Google Chrome, FaceTime, Excel, 12, Dice World, Club Deck, Clock, 9 of 30, Clean My Mac, Chat GPT, Calendar, Braille Alliance, Calendar.
And again, if we want to open Calendar, we can VO space.
System setting.
Next week, I'm going to show you how you can really navigate this dock using first letter navigation. But right now, we're keeping it simple, just doing VO left, VO right, VO space. And that is very easy to follow. Let's go ahead and go to menu extras, or the status menus, and that is VOMM. VOM once for menu bar, but to go to the status menus, you hold the VO key and press M twice. I'll mention this next week, but the status menus are one area where you must use VO keys. I'll teach you regular keyboard keys in the menu bar, but the status menus are where you must use VO navigation all the way to get around. Let's do VOMM.
Status menus. Audio and video controls. Status menu. You are currently on a
If we
status
VO
menu.
left,
Audio and video controls. Status menu.
VO right,
Zoom us. Status menu. Dropbox 243.4.6956 up to date. Status menu. Clean my Mac menu. Cloudy. 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Weather. Status menu.
I've added weather
You
to
are
my
currently on a
status menu.
status Focus. Status menu.
I hope
You
that
are
turned
currently on a
on.
status.
I don't think it did.
Bluetooth.
Anyway,
Status menu. Text input menu agent. Status menu. Wi-Fi. Connected. 3 bars.
actually it
Status
did.
menu.
Okay.
99% battery. Status menu. Siri. Status menu. Control center. Microphone and system audio recording are in use. Status menu. 20:06. Clock. Status menu. 20.
And let's say you want to see what your Wi-Fi connection is and go into that in more detail. We can VO left to get back to Wi-Fi.
Control center. Microphone and system audio recording are in use. Status menu. Siri. Status menu. 99% battery. Status menu. Wi-Fi. Connected. 3 bars. Status menu.
And let's go ahead
You are
and press
currently on a
VO space.
application. Control center. System dialog. Wi-Fi. Actions available. You are currently on a text element.
Now, when you go to certain things like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, it will take you to the control center. What is the control center? Well, it shows more, I think it kind of shows more status info about your Mac, and you can do other things like with music playback. You can customize what's in your control center. It used to be that sometimes accessing settings and doing things was more convenient by going to the control center directly or system menu extras directly, but they've kind of changed things around on the Mac. So I feel like control center and menu extras are a bit more interchangeable. But if we VO left,
Wi-Fi.
we're at the beginning.
Wi-Fi selected. Toggle button. Actions available. You are currently on a toggle button. To select or deselect this checkbox, press Control, Option, Space. To hide details, press Control, Option, Command, Space first to bring up the action menu.
So you've learned some things. VO space is used to activate a toggle. What's VO command space? Well, you get to learn that next week.
Heading personal hotspots. Chanel's iPhone. Herbie's iPhone. Heading known network. Fuzzy logic.
So you can see your networks here. I'm going to get out of this by pressing the escape key.
Calendar.
And if I wanted to quit some of these open apps, again, we'll go into that next week, but Command Q is used to quit an app.
System settings. Window.
And we'll go ahead and quit that. Command Q.
Finder. Desk.
And let's get back to Zoom and take your questions. This is a shorter lesson than typical since we had all the preliminary things to do. But I know sometimes in the first week you have questions. I want to allow time for that. First, though, let's stop my
Microsoft
audio.
Loopback. Loop Safari. Speech and sounds. Enabled in speech on.
And here we go. I've allowed everyone to be able to unmute, so feel free to ask your questions if you have any. All right. Do we not have questions? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Nope. Now you can unmute yourselves. I don't know why it. So go ahead and try again.
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Is it Raul? Okay,
Hi,
so
Raul.
quick question. How can I get, how can I put the locks on key to be the voiceover?
Oh, the
I
caps lock key.
yes.
Yes, it is the voiceover key by default, or it should be. What you can double check that though in the voiceover utility, and we'll do that in week 3. But you should be able to use it by default. You should be able to use it or control option as things are right now.
Okay, thank you.
Uh huh.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes I'm confused about when on the Mac that I use the enter key or um, and because it seems like in Windows you use it a lot more. So how do I know when to use the Windows and when to use the space bar? I mean, I'm sorry, the enter key or the space bar.
The VO space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. A lot of time you can use the enter key in a lot of places on the Mac when you're in menus, for instance. So all those menus we were going into, and you can use the enter key on the dock. I was using VO space, but I prefer to use enter wherever possible. If you're in a dialog, like in system settings with a number of different buttons, you cannot use the enter key there unless it activates the kind of the default button, but you can use it in lots of other places.
Okay, well that helps. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Kenny.
Yeah, go ahead, Kenny.
Um, for my Mac, when I bought it, I didn't buy the Apple keyboard. I have a regular Windows keyboard. Will that be an issue doing some of these commands?
It might. Again, I would recommend going into keyboard help to learn them. I think you're on your Windows key. The option key might actually be the Alt key, and the command key will be the Windows key. Control would be in the same spot, but that is going to be a little bit confusing potentially.
Chanel, this is
Can I ask
Bob.
a follow-up question? Oh, so that's
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, Bob, I'll get to you in a minute.
No
Kenny,
worries.
okay.
were you?
Yes, my follow-up question is, does anybody know of a good third-party? Because I heard the Mac keyboards are like super expensive. Does anybody know of a good third-party Mac compatible keyboard to get?
I've heard, good things about Logitech. They can be all right. I They do design some for Mac. Yeah, the one that we use is about $119. That's the older model, which yeah is kind of expensive, but it is a good keyboard. I can try to find out which Logitech is better for the Mac, or again, it might be something to ask on the iBug Macintalk list. You could also just get a regular Magic keyboard that's not the full size one, and that would be less expensive because if you're not going to use the numpad and things, you might find that the regular size Magic Keyboard, or you use you could use the keyboard on your laptop, or is that, or oh wait, you don't have a laptop.
No, ma'am, I have a M4 Mac Mini, but
Okay.
I just remembered, I do have the original Apple keyboard that took two AA batteries.
Oh,
You think that would work?
it might. Wow, I don't remember.
It was metal, flat, but the keys had a lot of spacing, and you unscrewed the left side and put in, I believe, two AA batteries,
Okay.
and then screwed the little thing back on the left.
Yeah, does it connect via USB or?
It's actually Bluetooth. Um,
Oh,
it was right before they made the butterfly keyboard, whatever that keyboard that got
okay.
sued over. It was before that.
Well, give it a try. Why not? It might work. Yeah. And I think Bob, you had a question.
Yeah. Before I get to that, I was just going to follow up. So I use a Logitech K780 Bluetooth keyboard that I mean it has your standard like Alt, and such, but yeah, as far as going to Mac, just for reference for anybody that might have a Windows keyboard and can't get one, your Windows key is going to coincide with the Option key, and then Alt will be the Command key. Um, and then I was just going to ask, I can't remember, and I may have missed it. Did a command to go to the desktop?
Yeah, it's VO Shift D.
Okay, that's
So,
what I thought. Just
yep,
want to make sure.
yep, very good. Yeah, I thought
Chanel.
those Windows keys were reversed on the. It gets kind of confusing with
It took
the.
me a while to get used to that.
Yeah. Okay. Someone else was asking a question.
Yes, Raul. I just want to say thank you because also works with my Mantis U40, the
Oh,
VOD.
wonderful.
Yes,
VOD and VO Shift D.
correct.
Yeah, and oh, and the caps lock. Okay,
Yeah, you
perfect.
have that. Yeah, my
Perfect.
Mantis.
Wonderful. Okay.
I have a question too.
Okay, go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, I want to know if there's any way to set the caps lock button to be a BO button.
Yeah, it should be that way by default. So if you press it, if you try to do something like caps lock D now, it should go to the dock. By default, VoiceOver is automatically set to use either caps lock or control and option.
Oh yeah, well, I never tried that. Okay,
Yep, I know some people are very surprised and they've never tried it, but it does work. And if it doesn't, then come back to us and we will help you get it to work.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Audio now unmuted.
This is Ilana.
Yeah, hi, Ilana.
Can you explain the difference between an action menu and a context menu?
Oh boy, we're going to get to that. The action menu is typically in things that are kind of imported over from iOS. Like in that, you'll find it a lot in the Messages app or the Control Center or things. Those weren't originally kind of part of the Mac, or they were redesigned to be more iOS like. It basically has. They're essentially the same thing, but you're going to use the context menu VO Shift M much more often.
So think of the actions menu as like something that you would use on your phone to swipe down and go through the options versus doing a one finger triple tap to bring up a menu of options. That would be the equivalent of the context menu on the iPhone. So
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't. Yeah, interesting way to think about it. Okay.
Is Kenny had another question?
Sure, go ahead, Kenny.
With my M4 Mac Mini, I've of course been on the search for a good microphone that will work with Siri. I've heard uh, other people comment not that Siri will not work that way with the with the Mac Mini series, and so they told me I had to buy some kind of expensive studio monitor to work with that. What I wanted to do was like on your iOS devices, you could have an iPad, iPhone, whatever, and say, "Hey, you know who?" And it would chime in, and you can ask a question. So I wanted the same setup as a Mac, as with the Mac, and people are some say it will work, some say it doesn't. I tried one mic and it did not work, and so I was just wondering if I, were to proceed as far as going forward to try to get this, either get the task done or just not be able to use Siri on the Mac, on my Mac.
Yeah, that's I I know like using a headset wouldn't really be quite because you probably want to be able to call out to your Mac from
This is
anywhere.
Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
If you really want to use your Mac like that, I mean, I personally think you'd be better off with a laptop, not a Mac Mini, because the laptop has built-in speakers. The Mini has a built-in speaker and an internal microphone too. The Mini has a built-in speaker, but it's not the greatest. You could buy external speakers and hook that up and then get a mic and stuff, but the
Right,
Mac is
and I
not.
do have it. I do have a nice pair of external speakers.
But I'd say if you've got Hey Siri working on your iOS devices, I don't know how useful it's even going to be on the Mac, because Siri on the Mac it's similar to iOS, but it's not an iOS device you're using. So I would say learn the Mac without Siri for now, and then you might decide if you really need it for the Mac, because it can do some things definitely. It can do like a lot of the Siri-ish things. It can answer the phone. It can send messages, stuff like that. But you could just as easily do that on your iOS devices as well, if that's what you're wanting to use this for Siri. The advantage, so
Oh, my thing is, I spent a lot of money on this Mac, and I honestly expected these, same performance, if not better, than like on the iPad. Well, I'm just comparing the iPad.
But so this is Herbie.
So go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead, Herbie.
The problem is the Mac is a full computer. The iPad is not. It is still it's basically an overgrown iPhone with a few little extras that can make it be a little bit more Mac-like if you're using a keyboard. But the iPad is still a mobile device. The Mac is a full computing device, and so it's capable of a whole lot more. And so you basically, you're asking an expensive machine to, when you're wanting to use Siri, you're kind of like asking an expensive machine to do things that a mobile device can already do with the same level of Siri-ness, which is not good to begin with. So I would say learn the Mac for the Mac's sake, and then worry about Siri later, because and learn figure out how you might what you might want Siri for on the Mac specifically. That's my advice.
Right. Okay. Well, I will, I guess,
Yeah,
hopefully visit this later.
I don't, I don't know if there's an inexpensive mic for the Mac. I'm sure there's gotta be. I'm just any plug and play USB mic. I don't, but I'm just not very familiar with that
You
at
can look
all.
for any, there's cheap mics out there.
Yeah. This is Kenny. The Mac that I have only has, well, they all feel like USB-C, but there was also mention of Thunderbolt or something like that,
It
which
has one or
is.
two, yeah, it has one or two USB A ports.
Oh no, no, my Mac only has C's.
No, I think even the newer Mac Mini, if it has one, I'd have to
Uh,
look at the.
I didn't feel any USB A's. All I felt was 2 C's in the front, like 4 in the back, or something like that, and then a HDMI.
Okay,
I
interesting.
mean,
Because
it
I
was
have an older Mac Mini and
a
it still
Mac
has two USB.
M4 Pro 512 with 24 gigs of the unified RAM.
This is Bob again.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, Kenny, worst case scenario, so Thunderbolt and USB-C are similar in some ways, but even if there aren't any USB-A ports, you can generally get a USB-C
To
hub.
USB A hub.
The
Yeah.
Yep.
US, yeah. And as far as microphones go, depending on your budget, because I used to do some broadcasting and things. I see one. They bought it. It's owned by Logitech now, but it's called Blue Yeti. It goes for like $84.99, but the sound quality is really good. But it just depends on how much you're going to use it. There are cheaper microphones out there, but that Blue Yeti, I've had really good experience with the audio quality on that thing.
That's what Herbie has. Yep.
But the problem with Siri 2 is, and this is why I would recommend a headset mic, is the more of a close up mic you have, the better it's going to hear you because you need Siri to really hear your voice without any extra background stuff or anything like that, and so you want as
Yes.
much accuracy as possible,
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
that's the advantage with a headset mic is, yeah, you're using a headset, but you're going to have the best experience with Siri or dictation. That's true of even the iPhone, but the difference is the iPhone you can at least hold it up to your ear and talk to Siri that way, and that would at least give you a close-up mic. You can't do that with a Mac. But again, but the other thing to keep in mind too, and it's not the Siri. The Apple is not Alexa, and why I say that is you cannot have your devices differentiate. Like with Alexa, you can name them different things, whereas your Appleverse, you're stuck with the same thing no matter what device you're talking to. So that's another disadvantage with the Hey Siri thing.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind too.
This is
Oh.
Kenny.
Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
I have tried it with a couple of headsets. One was Plantronics over the ear, and one was the Apple. No. Was it the company? Oh, what's that one they bought? The Studio. It's not the Mac. It's the.
Beats or
Yes, Beat Studio Pro over the ear headphones. That's it. I tried it with that and hooked it up with the Bluetooth and then tried my Hey Yahoo and it did not trigger.
was that only like
And this
headphones or
is
did that have a mic? Yeah.
Yes, it has a mic,
yeah.
40 hours of battery life, USB-C charging. I don't know what else it has, but
So this
it's
is
nice.
Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
The other thing, of course, you did actually go through the Siri options and set up the Hey Siri, right?
Hey Siri was selected. Apple
Okay.
Intelligence was selected. Siri was selected. All these were all selected.
Right. So
But
this is
they
something we could talk more in depth about on the Mac
I found
Buzz.
this on the web. For when selected, Apple Intelligence was selected.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our phones are listening to us right now, which is very frustrating. But I think that I wouldn't get a Mac for using Siri myself, honestly. It can help with some things, but that's not really the reason why you would, in my opinion at least, why you would want to use a Mac.
Right, but I figured it was like a icing on the cake or whatever. It's this Mac is to me it's a work in progress, making some progress.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other question? What?
Good evening, Chanel.
Yes.
My name is
Abdallah.
Bhuvan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is
Bhuvan.
what?
Bhuvan. Hello? Am I
Yeah,
audible?
I hear you.
I am Bhuvan.
Oh, okay.
The
Bhuvan,
Indian
I'm
guy.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a question regarding typing in the Mac. I had bought a Mac recently. It has been only 3 months. So the thing is, when we type anything into our native Mac apps like Pages or TextEdit on Word also, the system announce all the suggestions, everything. So whatever we turn off in the verbosity and stuff, na, it still announces a lot of suggestions and everything. It interrupts me a lot while writing. So any solution
Ooh.
for this?
Yeah, so you probably want to turn off like text predictions. Is that maybe what you're thinking about?
Okay, it's a text prediction, huh?
Yeah, is that because it's giving you a bunch of suggestions?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it's giving suggestions. And so I will check it out after turning off this text predictions and get back
Yeah,
to
and
you.
text predictions, if you go into system settings um and then you
Keyboard.
go into the input. Oh wait, let's see. I'm looking.
Okay.
Yeah, where it's set, like it'll give you input sources that'll say the name, and then right next to it is the edit button, and
Yes.
um, turn off like correct spelling automatically, um, show inline
Uh,
predictive text.
yes, 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 yes.
So
So
maybe
we'll turn off
try
the
that.
productive text. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep.
Then I will turn off the productive text, that option, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And let me know if it's in system settings under keyboard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
I was wondering, in the Mac with Bluetooth, I am having issues connecting my headset to the Bluetooth. So I can go to Bluetooth and I can get to the button where it says connection and all of that, but when I press it, nothing happens, although my headphones are in pairing mode. And for some reason, the buttons don't click in the specific Bluetooth submenu in system settings.
Okay, yeah, you want to make sure in Bluetooth you go to, yeah, where it's searching for a device. Let's see, because you want to, if you haven't paired it before.
No, I haven't paired them before, so that's why I go to pair device and I click on it, but it doesn't activate the toggle so that I can select my headphones from there.
Okay. Um, because when you go into Bluetooth, it will show you um, nearby devices. It's a heading. So in Bluetooth, in system settings and Bluetooth, you're looking for the heading called nearby devices. And then it would be there. And then there's like I, yeah, I can't think. Herbie, do you know why maybe Bluetooth headphones wouldn't connect?
Well, just the basic things. First of all, make sure they're in pairing mode.
Yeah, he said they were.
And then, yeah, go into the full Bluetooth. Make sure you go into the Bluetooth under the system settings, not the menu bar.
Yes.
And you'll first see any devices that you're connected, and then you should see them. Then afterwards, when you keep going, then you should see like whatever the headphones are, and it'll say not connected or whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's like a connect button.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll see why that's not coming up because usually in other iOS devices it works that way, but for some odd reason, not here. So
Hmm.
I'll see what I can do.
That's strange. Okay.
Yeah, because none of the buttons activate when I press VO space or when I activate the trackpad to press any buttons. It's just that one specific area where the buttons weirdly don't activate, so I don't
Mm,
know. Yeah. Oh
okay.
well, thank you.
You're welcome. And Otto, I see that you joined us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I was kind of late because I didn't know until like a few minutes ago where was the link for the meeting.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's always sent out every morning. With or not before class with the focus questions. It's also in the syllabus. So, thank you for joining us, and please let us know if you have any questions once you've had a chance to review the class recording.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, do I have a class recording to review? Is that possible?
Yes, you will. Have you not been getting emails from the list?
Actually, no, and I don't know why. That's the reason I don't know anything. I just figured out that everything like, well, it's the day for the first class and I haven't received anything. So I went to the group things and figured out how to get in here. So yeah,
Oh, you're subscribed because you were able to access the group on the web, correct?
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That um I can try to send you the syllabus and stuff individually.
But also check your spam folder.
Yeah, check your spam.
Yeah, of course I already did that.
Right. Okay. Um, it, yeah, I don't know why. Uh, are you receiving email on another device, like an iPhone or another computer?
Yeah. All the devices I haven't received anywhere.
Okay. Hmm. Well, let me know if you get. I'll be sending out the focus questions soon with tonight's class. So, um, let me know if you get them, and you know. All
Okay, I
right.
will. Are you Chanel? Is that your name?
I am. Yes.
Oh, okay, great, great.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for getting on the groups IO and finding the link that way. All right. Do we have any more questions before we
It's
close?
Donald.
Yeah, go ahead, Donald.
I have a question. Are we
Mm-hmm.
going to be working in? Is there a way like to get it like um, or that you could recommend that I get a cheat sheet of are we going to be doing a lot of cheat sheet stuff where like I'm going to have to remember to answer the question so I can write the answer down? And the second question I have is, are we going to be dealing with pages? I heard a lot of good things about pages.
Yeah,
Um,
we do not cover pages. If there is time, Herbie might get to it in like a mini lesson. We go over text edit. And once you understand text navigation and things, then you'll be able to use pages. But it's important to just understand how to navigate and select text and save, how to change formatting. And you can do all that basic stuff in text edit. So we're going to start with a simpler application first. And if there's time, perhaps go into pages briefly in a mini lesson.
okay.
And as far as I will be sending out. Um, so tonight I'll just be sending the focus questions and link to the lesson recording. Tomorrow, or typically the next day after class, I will send a summary kind of generated by ChatGPT along with keyboard commands. Usually I have to put in all the keyboard commands I want covered, so it will be in an email, but you might want to take note of those that are going to be useful to you. Yeah, for the focus questions, go through them, at your leisure as you're listening to the recordings and see if you can answer them. But the main thing is, practice your Mac, and that will also help you answer the questions.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be a big college type thing.
Well, it's going to get, we're going to get more and more
I'd love to,
complex.
make you all write essays and stuff, but they told me no on that as well. So
All
Thank
right.
you.
May I ask something?
Yes.
This is Otto, by the way.
Uh huh.
So when I was using when I use Windows and JAWS on any VDA, we have a command like to copy anything the screen readers speak,
Oh,
and I would
yes.
like to do there is something similar
There
on VoiceOver.
is. You want to know what it is?
Yeah, of course.
Well, how about actually, you know what? We should use that. Okay. Next week, I'm going to teach all of you how to access commands help. That is a way of learning voiceover commands. And you can search for that command there. Unless you genuinely need it tonight, I don't want you to, miss out. But when we cover commands help next week, that'll be a great thing for you to be able to find. But I'll be nice and just give it to you now. I
Okay. I think it's VOH for the help.
Right? Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
And commands help is VOHH.
Ah, okay.
Or you can go into the voiceover help, down arrow to commands, press return or VO space, and then you can have a look in the category. Now, I forget which category it's in, but okay. I'll give you the command this time. It's VO Shift C. So caps lock Shift C or Control Option Shift C. You know how you would copy with Command C. But to do the voiceover, copy the last phrase to the clipboard, it's VO Shift C.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
You're
Okay, I'll
welcome.
try this. See how it
Yep.
works and everything. I was trying to copy and paste things for Canvas because I'm a
Okay.
college student. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I've heard Canvas can be tricky. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I hope not too much, but that's
Actually,
that.
question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suggest better on the app Canvas or Canvas on the browser for the
I
Mac?
don't know. I mean, Herbie and I used Blackboard back in the day, and I don't think there was. I think the browser was easier, but it depends on if you need to get access to your class stuff quickly and you don't have the Mac, then use the app. But it's we once we do our Safari
the
lesson and
tricky thing is, once I knew how to use the Mac, I figured out some shortcuts on how to get where I wanted on Blackboard real easily on the web. So that's what made it easier to use. And of course, Blackboard went through some changes while I was in school too, which made things more interesting. But I knew how to use find commands to quickly find the login link, for instance. I knew how to quickly find the class that I wanted. Some things that you cannot as easily do on the iPhone with a touch screen. But it took some playing, to knowing how to use the web on the Mac. That's what made it accessible for me. If that makes sense. But
Gotcha.
I've not used Canvas, so I can't comment specifically on it. But it's a matter of figuring out what works. And but the advantage with an app, of course, is like one thing that I got with the app was notifications with the instructor sending out an announcement or whatever. So I would imagine Canvas would work similarly. But I just want to mention that, guys. I mean, this is a good forum for class questions, and why not come to the Mac Buzz first and third Tuesday, and let's talk about the non-class related things, and we can do that in more in depth.
yeah. And Mac and Talk, that's a great place. I mean,
Yes.
everybody, we're all kind of trying to get started tonight, so I'm a little bit more lenient on general questions. But As the class progresses, it will be more important just to do class-related questions. With that being said, does anyone have any class-related questions left for tonight? Or if not, we will call it a night.
Yeah, I had a question. Are we gonna have the review session? Is it gonna be in this room or is it gonna be in another room?
Herbie explained that it will be in another room, and
Oh,
the
okay.
link is in your syllabus. It will also be provided for the first couple of weeks when Herbie sends out
Cool.
the email, and that's
Good deal.
6:30 Central.
Thank you.
And I will be there 15 minutes before if you have any questions you want to ask before the review session gets started. Yes. And I am not as nice as Chanel. Like, Chanel will send you the class link every week. I only send the review link first couple weeks, and that's it. You are responsible for not losing it, and there are several ways you can do that. But like I said, because it actually is in the syllabus, so maybe
Do
I'll.
we save it to the notes? Is that how you save it?
You can
Save
save
it
it
to
to
the
the
notes?
notes. You can actually bookmark the link because it first opens in Safari.
Okay.
You can save the email so that way you can always find it real quick. There are several ways.
Okay.
All right. Any other class questions?
This is Carolyn.
Yes, Carolyn?
Hi, would you please send the link we were talking about before class about the another way to download or a player?
Oh, Echo Box or Echo
Yes.
Player. Yes, that's a. I will do that. Get Herbie to do it. No, I'll do it. Um, I should try to do that right away. Yeah, I will do that. And I might, we're kind of ending a little bit late tonight. I might just get these focus questions and things to you tomorrow. We'll see. But I did say in the syllabus something about, like, record it no later than a day or two after each lesson, I think. So, yeah, I will get that link to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Alana.
Yeah.
Would Will there be an opportunity at some point, I'm not sure where, maybe this is like an email question, um, to be able to talk to people about like study strategies, I guess, because I'm I'm kind of new to being a student and learning while using VoiceOver. So I have these systems I've tried to come up with, basically just making a million new notes in the Notes app and just like listening to them over and over again. But it would probably be helpful for me
So
at some
this is
point to
Herbie.
talk to other people about
Yeah,
that.
go ahead, Herbie.
So again, something else I actually did mention in my introduction earlier. So glad to know that people aren't listening. I did
Herbie,
mention. What?
be good.
Must I? Anyway, but in all seriousness, there's two things. One I didn't mention, and one I did mention. The one thing I didn't mention is that, of course, you have the email list. So, of course, you can definitely email. Any email you send on there goes to the entire class, and that's the iBug Mac training at groups.io. And the other thing, and I mentioned this. I didn't go into full detail, but I will do so now. One of the things that other classes have done is they have met outside of the review session and, had their own, like had a class strategy session where they'll go over one of the previous lessons and see who comes up with the answers and stuff. And for that, you are definitely more than welcome to use the review link for that. You can't use the Mac class link, but you can definitely use the review one. Just make sure you set up the meeting ahead of time using the email list so that way I know to expect people on there. If for some reason I actually need the Zoom account and that's your timing is gonna conflict, I will make sure to let you know that will be an issue, but most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it won't be. I do not monitor what goes on in that room, so you are responsible for, staying on task and whatnot. if and so on and so forth. So you can definitely feel free to use that as a resource to meet with each other and strategize, go over previous lessons, that type of things.
Yep, that's an option. So basically, your own student led study group, asking on the email list how everybody's, getting the material. We talked before class started a little bit about taking notes, and that, may or may not be difficult. So, you're welcome to ask on the student list. You're welcome to come to the review sessions early because Herbie and I will be there early and ask. So,
Okay,
we definitely want to support you in however we can. All right. Any other questions? Or maybe I shouldn't say that. Okay, I'm going to take silence as golden. Everyone have a wonderful night, good sleep, and we will meet again on Thursday at the review session. Thanks for being here.
thank you.
Audio now unmuted.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
this
Thank
is
you.
Kenny. Real quick.
What?
Have a good night.
This is
Yes,
Kenny. Real quick.
yes.
What time is the
Oh,
review?
6:30 p.m.
6:30.
Central. Yes.
And is this Thursday?
Every
Yes.
Thursday.
Oh, every Thursday. How long is the review?
Yep.
So, great question. The reviews, how long the review session is, I try to keep it within an hour, but you guys, the students, are very much a deciding factor. Do you sidetrack us into discussions, things like that? So, my goal is if we stay on topic and on task, it
Yes.
can be a
Huh?
half hour. The first couple of review
We can do
sessions
it a little bit.
Can
the first
you?
couple of review sessions tend to be a little bit longer because people tend to have more questions. And then so that has been the pattern. So it's,
Okay.
a lot of it depends on you, the students.
I thought it was at 6 because I have a major conflict at 7 on Thursdays. The first and third Thursday.
Well, you only have to attend half the review sessions, but
I
if you
have.
can do,
Are they recorded too then, or
they are recorded and
okay?
they are only distributed to the class.
Yeah.
If attendance falls low, I reserve the right to only start giving the recordings to those who attend.
Oh.
But if you can do anything about but we did list this in the announcement, so if you can do anything about your major conflict.
Oh no, the major conflict is a iBug conflict.
Well, Trekkie Talk isn't until 8.
No, it's 7 Central.
Oh, it is 7 Central.
Yes.
Yeah, you do have a conflict there. But they can, but you don't even go to the second half anyway, so you just have to.
No, I do go to the second half. It's
Yeah.
just me and Jody, we each do an episode, and so she's the major.
Yeah, I know how Trekkie
Yeah.
Talk works.
Yeah, and so
I think Jody would understand though that you're in just tell her
Mm.
that you're going to Starfleet Academy and that you're in boot camp.
yeah,
And so you've got different priorities for a couple months, and she'll hold down the fort while you're in training.
yeah. See, I thought it was at 6. I didn't read that it was at 6:30, but okay.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Such a wonderful
Thanks.
class.
Good night.
Good night.